Awie, massacres. This will be the first weekly update. Today is Sunday, the 24th of November 2024. The year's almost over. Things are looking good. And just for this week past, we basically had no water. That was the main highlight of the week. No water since Tuesday. Water came back yesterday. And in an effort to try and get some bonus water, if I can put it that way, we had a little bit of fun yesterday with Johannes and our neighbor's worker Maurus. So yeah, check that video. I'll link it in this video as well. But yeah, just to update you on that, we'll be walking to that site where we were busy yesterday just to see what happened actually. But yeah, that's how it goes. So we'll try and update weekly, but not a promise, guys. Time sometimes doesn't work with us, but yeah. With the water issue, we are actually quite happy with how our garden did. In general, nothing died, if I can put it that way, and things are still looking quite healthy. So I'll show you quickly how the garden looks. Obviously, some work that we do, or I work in the garden on Sundays, is my gardening time. So a lot of work that needs to be done today, so I'll try and make it quick. Get through. Okay, looking at the kitchen garden. In general, the plants did well. For the kitchen garden, we wanted to clean it up last weekend and replant, or get it replanted because it's quite overgrown. And most of the Swiss chard went to seed with the heat. When the temperatures started rising, basically all our Swiss chard in the garden, or what people in Swakopmund call spinach, it's not actually spinach, it's Swiss chard, all of them went to seed basically. So we don't want to save that seed. We want seed that is a bit hardier than the current plants that are in. We want the seeds to, or the plants to bolt only after they've at least produced for 3 months. But these plants, most of them have given us about a month up to 2 months. But yeah, we want them to last a bit longer when it's hotter. So a lot of seed in here. We've still got a lot of Swiss chard seed as well, so it's not a loss for us to harvest these out. But yeah, we're gonna clear out this bed today, hopefully, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll have it planted up, or at least planted with seeds again. Because yeah, we can hardly even get in here now with all the seed stalks and stems lying around. So yeah, we need to get that cleared out. The plan is to get some cucumbers in as well as lettuce. We're gonna skip tomatoes for now. We've got the big issue with tuta absoluta. I'll show you guys the potatoes and the tomatoes that are growing, how we are struggling with that. So just the update from the banana circle without water last week. Still looking good. No real issues on the banana circle. In fact, the sweet potato that we planted is just getting more prolific. This variety of sweet potato seems to be growing quite good in these conditions. We've got 2 varieties of sweet potato on this banana circle. We haven't harvested the one with the 3 tips on yet. We've had this one. This is just a normal purple skin, white flesh sweet potato. But yeah, as you see, don't know if it's that because of the sun that one's getting earlier than this variety. But yeah, that one's growing quite prolific on that side, whereas this one is taking a bit longer to fill out the bed. Okay, but all in all, without water, banana circle looks good. Moving over to the rest of the kitchen garden, if you can put it that way. It's not really the kitchen garden, it would be more a herb type garden. The Swiss chard here is still doing good. They're still young, and you see a lot of them also went to seed. already, so we need to get those out as well. And we don't want to collect those seeds, we want more hardy seeds. Grenadella trellis is booming, or the latest plant that we had in, filled up with grenadellas. So yeah, we're gonna have a lekker harvest of those this year. Lekker jam and cordials again. And then the nice thing, I thought my corn wouldn't make it through this dry spell. But yeah, corn is quite hardy. So the corn made it from Tuesday to yesterday without water. I did water them yesterday a little bit. And yeah, the beans are coming up now. So that's looking good. So the three sister planting is getting there. We'll keep an eye on that and see how it works. So yeah, all in all, this bed is looking good. A lot of amaranth growing in between. And a few sunflowers volunteered as well. So not all the corn seeds germinated like we had to, so the whole bed would have been full of corn seeds. But yeah, not all of them germinated, so we've got some volunteers that took their place. And we've obviously thinned it out during the week as well, not the week prior actually, because last week we decided not to do any plant removal or cutting, just to keep shade on for the water situation. So yeah, things are looking good. Nothing's competing with the corn. We'll obviously in the week just keep an eye on the pioneer species. Don't like to call them weeds. They are pioneers. They're just doing their job of trying to cover the earth. So we'll just keep an eye so they don't outcompete the corn. You see the beans are starting to grow. So yeah, hopefully those will start trellising onto the corn. And we've got the white boer pumpkins coming up as we planted them. Got some zucchinis in between here as well. And then in between the beds as well, the zucchinis and the white boer pumpkins are coming up. But all along this row, we have some beans in. Not all of them germinated, but quite a few of them germinated. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. If we need to, we'll probably plant a few more beans there where there's gaps in the planting. Okay, then next to this, we're obviously moving more into the food forest, I'd like to call it. It's what it's supposed to become. But yeah, we didn't follow the procedure for planting a food forest in here. We planted trees on their own singly, and didn't have support for them. So yeah, the trees took a bit long to grow, but at least we know what trees work and which ones don't. We've had a lot of different trees in here, and we've basically starved them from water, I can put it that way, because it's a dry environment. We don't have so much money to pay for water, and we have a few species that we know now works well with little water. So we'll obviously then try and replicate this, but yeah, we need to get more growth in between here to start getting the soil protected, get ground covers in, shrubs, put more shrubs, whatever we've got available. We just need to plug in here to use whatever water is there, and then cover the soil to prevent evaporation, because that's what it's all about in the desert, is preventing evaporation. But we'll keep some of the work that's needed here as demonstration for the upcoming Permaculture Design Certificate course here at our place in January 2025. That's exciting times. Yeah, mulberries have been doing excellent. We've harvested quite a bit. We harvest every day and then we freeze it up, because we've seen making jam with the harvest of the day is a bit time consuming, and just to make 3 jars of jam in one go, that takes about 5 hours to make. Yeah, it's not really worth it. So we're harvesting the mulberries on a daily basis and then freezing it until the mulberries stop giving us fruit, we will then make a big batch of jam from that fruit. My bodyguard. Hello, dear. Hello, dear. Yeah, she follows me everywhere, except too far from home she doesn't go. But around the house, you'll see her on the videos. She'll be my tail. She's like my tail. On the duck front, ducks did well during the no water time. We had water in the tank to give all the animals water. Hello, Donald. Hello, Donald. Hello, Donald. Say hi. Say hello. Hello. Hello, big boy. Yeah, it's a pity. Um, we need to get rid of one of our drakes because we only have 4 hens. They're not really fighting with each other, but yeah, we need to. They're actually brothers and sisters, all these ducks. So we want to get some fresh blood in, and if we get a new drake in, obviously there's gonna be a lot of fighting happening. So we'd rather just have one drake. We've agreed with one of our neighbors. They've got Muscovies as well. So we'll be getting some of or one of his drakes in and exchanging either Donald or Jupiter for that drake. Then if we go in here, Jupiter, don't be scared, man. Then we've got the broody hen sitting on eggs. I counted 6 eggs the last week, but now there's only 4, so I'm not sure what's happening there. I think she's been sitting now for about 2 weeks. So we expecting by the end of next week, maybe into the other week, we're expecting some chicks from her. So we'll see how that goes. Hey Donald, come in. Kom in, jy kan nie nou rondloop nie. Ek is nie buite nie. Kom, gaan in. Gaan. Jy kan nie nou rondloop nie. And then we've got a bit of a situation. The ducks have been laying their eggs here. But I don't want these ones to hatch out yet. We need to harvest these eggs because there's way too many eggs. Way too many eggs for her to handle. And she's not really broody. She's not protecting her eggs like the other mother is. So I need to collect some of those eggs. But she has built a nest. If you look at the feathers around, that's nesting habits. So we'll probably collect some of these and leave a few, mark them, because the issue is they'll continue laying eggs, not the ones that are broody, but the other 2 females will continue laying eggs and adding eggs into this nest. So we need to mark the eggs that will be staying for her to hatch and remove on a daily basis the other eggs so that they don't incubate. Yeah, this is quite a bit. Yeah, she's broody. She's protecting the eggs. Okay, we'll leave her alone before she damages eggs. Okay. So yeah, so baby ducks on the way. But all in all, duck pen. Still need to build a duck pond. So they're still using the shell. That's a project for a later stage. But all in all, duck pen looks good. Bye guys. Then looking at the market garden, a lot of work needed here. All our spinach in here, or probably 90% of them, was Swiss chard. Let's not call it spinach. Swiss chard. Probably 90% of them went to seed. Same like the kitchen garden, a lot of seed stalks sticking out that we need to remove. I'll do that today. And then we need to start planting new seedlings and getting things growing here again. Our leeks are looking good. I think it's time for them to be harvested. So yeah, we'll be putting that up on our WhatsApp group for sale. And see if we can get a little bit of this water money back. So at the moment we're spending money and we're not making any money back in return. But in general, there's still life in the market garden. Albeit it's not all edible at the moment. So yeah, the plan for here is it's summertime, so we're gonna be putting in summer crops now. The cabbages and the broccolis and the cauliflowers have all been harvested. And they're being attacked by what would seem to be little tiger moths, or what you call it. It's not tuta, but there's another moth. I'll put the name at the bottom because I have seen them around. They're similar to tuta, but they are more prevalent on cabbages. So all of our cabbages are full of holes. But yeah, we've harvested, as you see, we've harvested some broccoli from this already. So we've had some broccoli over the past few weeks, broccoli and cauliflower. But we need to get the plants out so that we can reduce the amount of those moths. I'll put the moth's name on. Okay, so we'll be planting corn, sweet corn in these beds, beans. We're not gonna do tomatoes yet. We've got a heavy issue with tuta absoluta, as I said. I'll show you on the potatoes now. So yeah, we won't be planting tomatoes anytime soon. We'll be actually focusing, I've told Johannes to focus on removing any tomato plants that he sees. I know it goes counter to what he would want, because he obviously benefits from the tomatoes. We've got a little cherry tomato that grows everywhere, but even that cherry tomato has been attacked by tuta now. And the cherry tomato is free for all, so whoever harvests first, that's the agreement we have with Johannes. Whoever harvests first on the cherry tomatoes can get it. So he obviously uses that in his food. So yeah, so we'll grow tomatoes again, but for now we want to just reduce the tuta absoluta population. Then, as I said, on the potatoes, we've been using pyro grow. It's what people have been flaunting lately these days as the miracle juice. We've used pyro grow now for 3 weeks on these plants. They looked quite good about 2 weeks ago, but if you look at this potato bed now, the tuta has decimated it, even with the pyro grow. The tuta didn't really care about the pyro grow. It just continued proliferating and messed up the whole bed. So we'll be removing this in the week. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of potatoes to harvest. This bed's potatoes we planted a bit later, but yeah, they were doing quite well without tuta for a little bit while the plants were still young. But now the tuta has started infecting them as well. So we'll be removing all Solancae family plants out of the garden to try and reduce the tuta absoluta population. And then we'll try again with a little bit more controlled application, because I think what's happening now is we've planted here, we've been using pyro grow on this, but obviously we haven't been using pyro grow on the wild tomatoes or the volunteer tomatoes. Like here's one, for example. So this is a volunteer tomato that popped up, and we haven't been using pyro grow on them. So there's a few of them all over the place, all over the garden, even in the food forest side of things. There's a lot of tomatoes, but they've all been killed by the tuta as well. So that's what I think happened. Tuta was breeding on them, and we've been treating the potatoes, but because there was still tuta in the area, The tuta just kept on coming back. When the pyrogrow wears out a little bit, tuta comes in, destroys. But we've been basically applying pyrogrow every week end at a concentration of 1 to 100. So quite strong, but still the tuta absoluta hasn't left the potatoes alone. So yeah, we'll be removing all Solance family. Mulberry Lane's looking great. Plants are growing well. I'll link a video on what the idea about the mulberry lane is in a later stage. But yeah, we've been getting a lot of mulberries off here, as I said, as well as the other two big trees. But yeah, this is looking good. And then what we did this morning quickly, me and Johannes, in preparation for him for work for the week, we need a bit more protection from the southwesterly wind. So the southwesterly wind comes from that side, that's southwest. Swakopmund is on the west, so over the hill there. So we get hammered by southwesterly winds, and obviously that impacts our market garden. So that was the main aim of the Mulberry Lane, is as a windbreak. But to add more layers to that windbreak, we'll be planting saltbush on the outside as an outside perimeter. So we've marked out all the positions of all the saltbush trees that we'll be putting in. They're about 2.7 meters from the mulberries. So that will form a nice hedge. Each tree is about 2 meters apart. So they'll interlock nicely, or each bush will interlock nicely to form a nice thick layer of windbreak on this side. So the idea then is, as the bushes mature and the system on this side matures, we'll obviously extend the more useful trees closer to the boundary line on the right side. But yeah, that's all in the design. So we'll basically be moving this hedge with time, probably once every 2 years, to make way for more productive species, and then subsequently moving the windbreak closer to the boundary, where the windbreak will eventually start at the boundary, unless we can get our neighbor on board, because he's actually got a nice land profile to put in swales. If we could link the swales from our property into his property, there's obviously going to be a lot more catchment potential from the uphill slopes, which would benefit the whole area. So his 10 hectares plus my 10 hectares, but I think the people that will benefit the most will be the people downstream from us, because all that water will be springing out in little springs all along their properties at the bottom. So yeah, it's a lot of work for the future. We want to clean all this up. We'll get there eventually. Probably not in my lifetime, but we'll definitely get there. So yeah, so this will be a project for Johannes in the week. He probably doesn't need to dig all the holes. It's quite a bit of work. He's got other work to do as well. Looking after the animals and cleaning out pens and so on. That's his main duty. So this is his spare time duties. Is digging holes for trees until we can get attachment for Bluey, so that we can do this work with less effort, because it is quite a job. All these stones come out of holes that have been dug by myself and a few of our previous workers, and Johannes also dug some of these stones out. So yeah, there's a lot of rock in this area, so yeah, it's hard work to dig holes. So that will be Johannes' project for the next month or so, to get in a few salt bushes. I think we've got about 10 trees, but we need to count them still, that we can plant. Okay, well, that's it for now. Okay, so that's it for the week. Yeah, as I said, we'll try and update weekly. What I'm thinking, or you guys can comment on what you'd like to see on a weekly update. But what I'm thinking for now, give you guys an update on the water, give you guys an update on what happened in the week, or the prior weeks if we don't get to weekly, and then give you guys an update on projects that we've been working on. See how they've progressed during the week, and then obviously if we pick up anything exciting or if something happens during the week, some exciting events, or we see something new, we'll try and include that in the update. But obviously we'll be making videos as we go along. So your comments will really help us and guide us on how you'd like this channel to develop. So yeah, it's a work in progress, guys. Like and subscribe, and let's see how it goes. Get it. Let's go. A luta continua. The struggle continues, but we'll get there. Sharp.